So, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome you on board your flight this morning. We want you to put your seats and seat back trays in their full upright and locked position. Make sure that all carry-on items are properly stowed beneath the seat in front of you. All items are safely in the overhead bin. All right, we're going to go. So I don't know if I told you guys before, but I was a flight attendant before I became a minister. And this was the very first talk that I did in my church, my home church. It was the very first talk I did when I did the international conferences. It was my dad's favorite talk. And so I did it in honor of my dad every Father's Day. Oh. Stop it. Butch up. All right. So taking flight. Everybody gets on a plane, right? And you watch the flight attendant demo, or basically you don't. You ignore it, right? Everybody, you're not paying attention to it. But when I was a kid, I used to tell my mother, I want to go to the airport. I was like this high. I want to go to the airport and I want to watch airplanes. I was fascinated by airplanes. And so she would take me to the airport in Flint, Michigan, thriving metropolis, 2 flights a day. And at one point, they were both on the ground, and I used to sit there and go, oh, man, I want to be one of those. And she would go, you want to be a pilot? And I said, no, I want to be one of those. I wanted the white boots and the hat, the whole thing. And I'm 7 years old, and my mother goes, oh, okay. Well, if that's what you want to do. My mother was from Unity. I was born and raised in Unity, so my mother was of the mindset that if that's what you want, you go for it, and you visualize yourself. So all through my schooling, I was always the kid looking out in the sky at the airplanes going by, because I knew that someday I would be on a plane. So here we go. When I believe and I know that what I believe is meant to unfold, then at that first moment it is meant to happen. Divine timing makes it so. So the airline that I got hired with hired people, flight attendants, when they were 20 years old. I was in class at 19 and 11 months. So at the first available time, I turned 20 in class. Next thing you know, I was a flight attendant. Coincidence? I don't think so. Because it was my belief system that put me there. Now, I never got to wear that outfit, which I'm really sad about, but that's my belief system. So we make our own mistakes. We suffer from our own foolishness, and we must also make our own return journey to righteousness. When you hear the word righteousness, and if you read it in the Bible, just think of right thinkingness. Okay? We have to return to right thinking. That's what, most of us don't turn to that. Most of us are always preparing for the worst. But if you go into the right thinking, it all boils down to your connectedness to your own belief system. And I tell you what, some belief systems are good and some are just BS, right? We don't want to buy those. So I'm going to take you on a journey today. Everything that happens on the airport, I want you to start looking at in a metaphysical way, and I promise you, you will never get on a plane the same after this talk. You will look at it differently every time the flight attendants come out and do their little spiel. So the first thing you do when you arrive at the airport, see that young lady looking at the board? How many of you would go to the airport and just not have a ticket? You just look at all the opportunities, right? Most people wouldn't do that. You'd go, well, where do I want to go today? So the first thing we do is we have to start making a plan for our life. So I like to think that's what we do when we buy a ticket. We buy the ticket. We just don't go to the airport and let, some random force take us onto an airplane. We know where we're going. You have to know where you want to go in your relationships, in your health, in your finances, in your creativity. You have to buy the ticket. And now the question is, are you buying a ticket for first class, consciousness, business, coach, overhead bin, or lavatory? Because we have some stinking thinking and we've got some really great first-class thinking going on, right? You get to decide what kind of ticket and ride you want to have. Don't leave it up to some arbitrary force. No, we've learned through the power of prayer that when we claim our good, when I said I wanted to do this on this date, boom, it can happen when the belief system knows it can. So if you've talked yourself into being coach or riding in the overhead bin, that's your own belief system that you have to change. Are you with me? All right, cool. Are you on the journey yet? Absolutely. Once you're on board that plane, you're ready for the demo, right? This is where I have to tell you I've made a mistake this morning. I'm going to come clean about it. Actually, no. I'm going to blame my husband who's not here. Any of you know who are married, when there's a mistake to be made and your spouse isn't around, just point your finger. So Trey's up in New York, and I had all the demo equipment, the seatbelt, the oxygen mask. I know, right? Go, oh, I can't believe it. So now I'm going to have to mime it. But I want you to use your imagination and get with me, okay? So the first thing you do is when you come on board, we say, make sure your seatbelt is securely fastened. Your seats are equipped with a metal-to-metal type seatbelt. To fasten, insert the metal into the buckle till you hear it click. Pull on the strap for a tight fit. To unfasten, lift on metal plate, pull the end out. Very first thing we do. So what does that mean? Let's take away that part of it. That means we constantly have to be in a conscious effort to connect. There always has to be this opportunity where we connect with our spirit, with the universe, with that power. First thing we do is connect. And then what do they say? Keep it low and tight around your hips, right? Make sure that you tighten your security, tighten your connection to the universe. Don't let it wobble around and make you think that you're not worthy of something. That's never the truth. So as soon as you connect, you know what it feels like. Many of you connect when you drive onto this property. At least I know I do. I drive onto this property and I think, wow, there's a connection, there's a vibration, and it feels good. Well, that just doesn't have to happen when you come into the center, to the church. It can happen wherever you are. Just tighten up. Now, what does the captain say? In the event of clear air turbulence, please keep your seatbelt securely fastened at all times. Well, you know what? Nothing lasts forever, it just lasts for now. Clear air turbulence doesn't last forever. Our problems don't last forever. They just happen, and you move through them. Make sure you don't claim something. I don't know if I've ever said this to you before. The words I have and I am are extremely powerful. When you say, I have a disease, if I have cancer, you're giving it residency in your body. No. You're allowed to rent it and move on. But they're not allowed to take residency. When you say, I am unhappy, you are basically affirming your unhappiness. And that says, okay, you shall have unhappiness and you shall have it abundantly. Be careful what you say, I wish and I have. I am and I have. Because when you do that, you're taking ownership. So make sure whatever that is, you want more of in your life. You there? All right. Your seat bottom cushion floats. In the event that is needed, simply pull up on the cushion, holding the straps on the reverse side, taking it with you as you exit the aircraft, right? What you're sitting on right now can save your life. Seriously. What you are sitting on can save your life. Right now in this room, you have to decide how you're going to move through life. You're going to decide how you're going to connect to it. We've heard the phrase, have you ever heard the phrase, God in me, as me, through me? Have you ever heard that? Well, sometimes I have trouble getting my big as out of the way. Because I can say, God is in me. Can you agree with that? Yeah? God works through me. But sometimes I don't see God as me when I'm thinking the way I'm thinking or saying the things that I'm saying. There's no consistency there. All right, does anyone else have that problem? If you have that problem, say amen. Amen. Now all of you say amen. Okay, because that's the truth, right? That's just our truth. Hang on one second. I got to get my Beyonce fan going over here. Hold on. I neglected to move that. All right. So when you see that with the seat bottom cushion floats, you want to think, what I am actually doing today, during today's service, and every time I'm working on my own spiritual journey, I am saving my own life. I'm designing my own life. The wonderful thing about this is you get to design rather than live a life of default. You can default into several things. People do that all the time, and then they call it God's will. But God's will for us is that we get to thrive and be happy and be healthy and harmonious relationships. That's actually the intention. Now, whether or not we take that buy that ticket and get on that particular flight is up to our own consciousness. You there? Next thing, floor level lighting. This aircraft is equipped with floor level lighting. Red lights, white lights lead to red lights. Red lights indicate an exit. So why do you think those lights are there? People always wonder, why are they there? Because if there's a fire, what happens to smoke? It rises. So what does this say? See, the floor level lighting, when times get rough, get down low. Like Paul says, or excuse me, was it Paul or Mark? Mark said, go to the closet and pray. So when you see the floor level lighting, think about it. I don't have to deal with the chaos up here or the toxicity on the conscious level. I can go into my own heart and create the prayer to move me through this. And that requires that we also rely on our senses. Not just looking at it, but feeling it, touching it, because in the case of dense smoke, you're going to be looking and feeling and touching until you find that red light, and then you're going to go, oh, if I walk out here, this is my exit. Right? Next one, oxygen mask. In case of a loss of a cabin pressure, an oxygen mask will appear in front of you. Simply reach up, pull the oxygen mask down, place it over your mouth and nose, and breathe normally. Please continue to do so until advised by a uniformed crew member. Parents traveling with small children or adults that act like small children, secure your mask first, then offer assistance. The interesting thing about the oxygen mask is this. There have been times when have you ever had a feeling where something has taken your breath away? Something has happened, you read an email, you got a phone call, or something just took your breath away. Your reaction time is very important. Just like in an airplane, oxygen, if you don't put down that oxygen quick enough, you'll go into oxygen deprivation and start to pass out. Well, the same thing in life. When we're presented with the challenge, it's our opportunity to reach up, pull down our own faith. Remember our faith. Put it over your mouth and nose, so to speak. Embody it. Breathe it in. And the interesting thing is one size does not fit all. That's why they have those little things on the side for you to adjust the fit. And they also say, offer assistance to others after you take care of yourself. Remember, self-care is really important. It's hard to take care of other people when you yourself are not feeling cared for. So these are lessons are you getting the lessons okay, good, I'm glad. Without the props, I feel like I'm doing this on mine. In the seat back, you'll find a seat back card giving you this and other information, along with the location and operation of our 8 emergency exits. I'll get to the exits first. Your seat back card. Do you know that I was just amazed? Yesterday, you had 2 classes going, you had a fair, you've got classes going constantly. Your seatback card is the way to get information and to gain education about what to do in case of an emergency. That's what this campus is for. This campus is here for you to draw on at any time. I am amazed by how many things you have going on at this center. And I know sometimes during announcements you're like, I can't take it. That's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. You want to be able to have a center in a church like this that extends out into the community, that gives the resources you need to save your life in case of an emergency. In fact, to save your life in every given day. To create that life. So on that seatback card, when you see that and the flight attendant does that little thing, I want you to remind yourself that yes, indeed, you have had opportunities to educate yourself right here in this community. All right. Your 8 emergency exits. I always love doing that. That was my favorite part of being a flight attendant. They are the forward entry door in which you entered. Opposite that, the forward service door. 2 exits over each wing. 2 exits in the rear, both right and left. Eileen said to me earlier this week, she says, do you think what you do is spiritual theater? No. I had to get you for that one, Eileen. The seatback card is the how-to on survival. What happens here on Sundays is your how-to to thrive. And you get an invitation to expand that every time you hear of a class or something going on. I encourage you to do that. But there may be 50 ways to leave your lover, but there are only 8 ways to leave the airplane. See, the universe presents us with all kinds of opportunities, but in the end, the one that you use is the one closest to you, because that's the one that's presented to you. Are we good? All right, cool. Next one. Emergency exits. I just pointed those out. Those are boring. Oh, I just did that too. See, I'm way ahead of myself. You guys are going to go early. Brunch is early today on me. Make sure your seats and seatback trays in their full upright and locked position. All carry-on items. Let's talk about your carry-on baggage, shall we? Shall we talk about what you cart around each and every day? In fact, you have found new ways to get more stuff into smaller spaces. If I wrap it, I can vacuum seal it. I can do all sorts of things to put more stuff in there. But in the reality, is that not your carry-on? The carry-on luggage that you're carrying through your consciousness. The guilt or baggage or something that you have that you're carrying around, and you pull it around with you on every single flight, on everything that you do in your life. This carry-on bag thing is a big thing on the airplanes. You see it. And there's people that are like, nope, that's too big, that's too big. But everybody's trying to squeeze a little bit more in, right? And you're stuffing it underneath the seat in front of you. Is there anything that you could possibly get rid of that you are carrying around that no longer serves you? You know, it's interesting. My father-in-law made his transition recently, and Trey had to go back and, take everything out of the house and remove everything. And, of course, that lit something up in Trey, who already has OCD. He decided to come home and say, oh, my God, we have to clean out every cupboard and drawer. We have too much stuff. We have too much stuff, too much baggage, stuff we don't ever use. This is your opportunity to examine that, all right? Next thing. I don't know if you know this. They don't announce this on a plane, but on the plane, there's a crash axe behind the captain's seat. Now, people would think, why does the captain have a crash axe? Like hit somebody over the head? No. A crash axe is to create an exit where one doesn't currently exist. That's what it's used for. So I say this. Isn't that what we call prayer? Prayer is your crash axe. To create an exit where one doesn't seem to exist, but you know the potential is there to create one. Little things on this airplane are all around for you to look at, right? Now, does this look familiar to anyone? Does it look like your garage? Your junk drawers? Not just one. Your junk drawers, your cabinets, your closets, right? We check those things, but remember, you have to make sure you're carrying just the right amount. Not too much, because they'll charge you extra. So when you're checking a bag, the object is to say, okay, this is how much. So how much do you really need that's in your... I know people that have huge houses that own storage units. Yes. None of you would ever do that. Part of the lesson here, too, is if it's not serving you, put it back into the universe so we can serve others. If you're not using it, and you haven't used it in years, a lot of times we store stuff that we never use. It just sits there because we think someday I'll go buy it if I really need it. But other than that, let's just put it into the universe because someone needs it today. I don't know. So, confession. My weight has gone from like 290 and like 48 waist down to what I am now, which is smaller. Sometimes. I would keep all my oversized clothes. just in case, which basically was a prayer that says, keep it so you can wear it again. And I thought, you know what? This time, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to keep my fat boy jeans. I'm not going to keep my 5X shirts. I'm not going to keep all that. I am going to just say, someone else in the universe needs this more than I do right now, and I'm not going back. This is who I want to be, and so I'm going to continue working on that. So the universe doesn't work in chaotic fashion. So, and I'm bad about this because, like I said, Trey has OCD, so he keeps all the drawers clean. I have to have my one drawer that I just throw my stuff in, right? But the reality is the universe does not operate in chaos. So I'm going to say this. Look at the back seat of your car. If you got a bunch of stuff in the back seat, does your trunk look like it's, a garage sale? Does your home tidy and neat? Because everything is in energy. And the universe works when things are orderly. So I encourage you to just begin somewhere, creating a life that is orderly so that the universe can provide for you even more things. See, when you remove something from your being, from your house, from your household, from your consciousness, nature abhors a vacuum, so it has to fill that up. So we have a new rule. If you bring one shirt in, 2 old shirts have to go. And that way, there's always room for one more shirt if I want to buy one. Because you can't make room for the new until you rid yourself of the things that you've been carrying around. The universe works in order. Take advantage of that. Now, can I have my close-up real quick? I need a close-up. Put me close. Am I close up now? I'm not on the camera here, so I don't know. Please pause. Wait for a moment. For those of you who are joining us online, I know what you do. You watch until the end, and then when the offertory happens, you bolt. So, those of you who are joining online, I'm asking you, imploring you, begging you, please go to the website and donate, because I'm looking at 2 camera people and 3 people in a tech booth. Providing that service is not free, so you get to enjoy it in your pajamas or whatever you're wearing. I don't want to know. But please make an effort to support this church if you're watching it on streaming. It may appear to be free, but it's not free to put on. Thank you. All right. Again, we already did this. So on the right-hand side is the very first day that I flew with my friend Sherry. I know, look, I had hair. And I was thin. Back then we had weight check. You had to weigh in. You could only weigh so much. Hated that. And that on the left-hand side, that was my best friend Kevin, who made his transition a couple years ago. But that was my last day at work. So I enjoyed my time as a flight attendant. And I want to tell you, before we go into the offertory, I think that's it, right? Yeah, that's it. I've enjoyed my time here. And my time here has come to an end. No, stop. Your leadership, Reverend Eileen, is doing an amazing job. The church is going through, yes. And I decided that this is time for me to step back, because there's a few things that are going to be happening in the near future where I don't want to distract from that, and I want to make sure that the best thing is unfolding for you here, okay? The best thing for me to do is to be in the background, which I told Eileen that at any time, pick up the phone, I'm always there for you. But I've enjoyed coming here and speaking with you. I love your energy. I love your campus. I love the newness that you've created. I just implore you to pay attention to what's coming up. Because in mid-January, there's going to be a conscious giving program, which is something new that came up through the leadership training that I helped create with the team here, because there's a thing that needs to happen to sustain this organization. And so I want you to pay really good attention to that and commit to that, because that's what's going to keep this thing going. You guys have a beautiful sanctuary. You have a beautiful campus. You've got new carpet. I love that new carpet smell. Don't you love that? You've got new chairs. Everything, you got the landscape looks beautiful. All these things are just unfolding in perfection. And I encourage you to get involved in that program so that they can sustain this, not just for the time that you're here, but for the time for other people that are going to follow. Just like that happened so that you could enjoy this. Also, there's a prosperity program called Prosperity 3 for Merriman and Morrissey. I used to teach this program. I love this program. It's not about financial prosperity, although that's one aspect. It's going to be prosperity in your finances, in your creativity, in your intimate relationships, all relationships. It's going to be in your work. It's going to be in every aspect of your life. Don't you want an abundance in every area of your life? I do too. So now's the time because you've already taken flight. You guys are already at cruise altitude, and you're doing an exceptional job. Just keep it going. So that's my quest for you. So I pray for you and this center all the time. I know that divine right action is taking place in and around and through everyone here and the leadership of this organization. And I just know that you're in the right time and the right place. So pretend I have the seatbelt and all this equipment. Your seats are equipped with a metal-to-metal type seatbelt. To fasten, insert the metal until you hear it click. Pull on the strap for a tight fit. To unfasten, lift a metal plate, pull the end out. Your seat bottom cushion floats in the event that is needed. Simply pull up on the cushion, holding the straps on the reverse side, taking it with you as you exit the aircraft. The cabin is pressurized for your comfort. In the unlikely event of a loss of cabin pressure, an oxygen mask, which I would have dropped right here, and it would have been really funny. An oxygen mask will simply reach up, pull the oxygen mask down, place over your mouth and nose, and breathe normally. Please continue to do so until advised by a uniformed crew member. Parents traveling with small children or adults that act like small children, secure your mask first and offer assistance. In the seatback card, you'll find this card giving you this information, along with the location and operation of our 8 emergency exits. Pointed out for you, they are the forward entry door opposite that, the forward service door. 2 exits over each wing, 2 exits in the very rear, and my very favorite, the rear air stair. Ooh, if you're Italian, you know what that means. Please make sure your seats and seatback trays are in a full upright and locked position. All carry items properly stowed beneath the seat in front of you. Sit back, relax, and enjoy your flight. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.